All right, everyone, welcome to Moments of Muscle. I am your host, Heidi Leatherby, and today we are going to go over the kettlebell swing. Sani, this one's for you. So, a lot of times what I see is people overcomplicating this movement. This is actually a simple movement, but it's something that takes a lot of practice to get correct. So I wanted to go over some main points in a way that we're not complicating this too much. So, the big thing to note is that the kettlebell swing is a swing, it is not a squat. So what I see a lot in this movement, first of all, is people tend to do a little bit of a squat movement with this and a swing, and they're incorporating the two. What I want everyone to remember as they're focusing on this movement is that it is a hip hinge movement and a hip thrust more than anything. So what you're doing, the knees are soft, but you are actually hinging at the hip and you are pushing the butt back, okay? It's this with the hips instead of this, all right? So before you even pick up the bell, I want you to focus on putting those glutes back and projecting that hip forward, just like you were to hike a football, okay? It's the same movement. It's hips back, you're hinging at the hips, first and foremost. Again, the knees are soft, they're not straight, but you are pushing those glutes back and your back should be almost at a 45-degree angle to the ground, okay? So it's this instead of this. So with that said, bell weight. So as a woman, what I usually recommend is that women start out with a 26-pound bell, that's a 12 kilo. Men should start out with a 35 for practicing. What that does is that gives you enough weight to get enough feedback with the bell as you're going through those movements. If you start too light in the swing, you're really not going to get a lot of feedback on that bell, and it's just not going to give you the right amount of weight to really feel what it's like to do the proper swing. So we're gonna start. What I want you to do when you first pick up this bell is to put the bell about a foot or so, maybe 2 feet, depending on how long your arms are in front of you. Before you even pick up the bell, I want you to tilt it forward a little bit. And when you do that, you're bending down to reach it, and that automatically puts you in this position where your hips are at an hinge instead of a squat. So you're hinging down to pick up that bell, arms are straight, and you're gonna tilt the bell back toward you, and that's how you're going to start every single movement. I don't want the bell here. I don't want you starting from here. I want you starting a little bit in front of the feet, and you're gonna tilt that bell back and you're gonna load the hamstrings. So when you start your swing, what I want you to do first, before you even stand up with that bell, is do a quick few taps with the bell back towards your feet. And what that does is it gives you a little bit of a feel for how that bell is. And what you're gonna feel is the load in the hamstrings, and that's what you wanna feel. So when you do that a few times, tap, tap, you can then start to initiate the swing. So the swing, like I said, it's like a football hike. So you're gonna bring that bell right about here is where you're gonna bring that bell when you stand up with it. And it's gonna be close enough to the body. I'm gonna demonstrate it here. And you're gonna bring it through. And as you can see, it's a hip hinge. And you want that bell to end up just about shoulder height. And you're hinging, and you're pushing that butt back. Again, my knees are soft, but I'm not squatting. I'm not doing this. See, big difference. I'm hinging, I'm initiating with the hips, and I'm projecting that bell forward. And when you set that bell down, it should be just where you started it. Pick it up and set it down like a professional. So, going over the main points. You want the bell to end up right about at the groin, right between the legs there, and up. And you're ending right about shoulder height. Again, this is not a squat. This is a hip thrust movement. Those are some of the main points. If you feel it in the lower back, it usually means that you are squatting. You're not keeping the back tight. Another point that I like to make when you reach down for that bell is that your lats, your core, your butt, everything should be engaged, everything should be tight. That'll help protect that lower back. I'm gonna demonstrate it again. Reach down for the bell. Your back is straight. You're hinging. Just like you're sitting back down to sit on a toilet. That's literally what you're doing. Grab a hold of that bell. When you grab a hold of the bell, clench that bell like you mean it. And that's gonna initiate all the forearms up to your shoulder. It's gonna prepare the muscles for the load that it's about to happen. The kettlebell swing is one of the heaviest metabolic hits you can take. You do a set of 100 of these, you're gonna get very, very winded very quickly. Again, we're gonna go over it once more. Down to the bell, tilt it back, and that's where you start your swing. Hip thrust, boom. Straight up, shoulder length. It's like a missile. And if you use your hips and squeeze your butt right there at the top, and use your hips to bring that bell forward, it's gonna be a lot easier. And there you go. So I hope this video was helpful on the swing. Very, very basic overview of it. We'll do another video coming up of some corrections, but that in short is what you do. Again, make sure you are initiating from the hip. Your feet are a little wider than hip distance apart. What I'm gonna do actually, now that I think about it, is give you a front view of how this looks. Let's see here. Just so that you can see. Notice that I'm barefoot. I always train kettlebells with bare feet so that I can feel the ground. I've got a flat, stable surface. Really helps keep all of the muscles engaged and initiated. But we're gonna do this again from the front. There you go. Just about shoulder height. And I'm looking straight ahead. I'm looking straight at where that bell is. And you can see that I'm letting it float a little bit for a split second, and then I'm thrusting it back, like you're hiking a football. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial on the swing. And remember, if it's important, you'll do it every day, just like brushing your teeth.